Hey there, Alan Tyler here. Today I'm going to walk you through my bullet journal system. I learned about the bullet journal system a year ago, I suppose, and started experimenting with it. I've been using this specific journal since June or July of last year, and I'm probably 2/3, 3/4 of the way through the pages, but it's been a really beautiful system for me. It's helped me organize and stay organized and get a lot more done, and it's by far been the best planner or organizer system that I've ever used. I do want to point out that it's called Bullet Journal, but I think of it and use it more as a planner. I have a separate actual journal that I use as more of like a diary or a daily log of activities. This one is specifically focused around planning and getting things done and collecting to-do lists and things like that. So I'll walk you through sort of my system of it. I don't use it exactly as the Bullet Journal website recommends, but they also recommend that you experiment and make it your own, which is part of what I found really useful about it. So check it out. Okay, so here is my bullet journal. I saw this online, people taping a quote onto the front, so I change this up every now and then. This card is actually relatively dirty, but I may not be there yet, but I am closer than I was yesterday. So this is it's a moleskin, I think it's 5.5 inch by 8 inch dotted journal. The index, and this is something that I hadn't really seen in some other journals before, you actually end up numbering the pages. So, right, so there, you can buy ones that are already numbered, but it's easy enough to just write them in, and then you keep yourself an index of where all those different things are. So that's really cool. And I've obviously got lots more room for that. Now, let me start on my weekly spread. So this is actually 2 different weeks. Normally I don't have 2 ready to go. We are here today. This is Wednesday, the 26th. This tag is just so that I mark this page so I can always come back to it. But I've got my 7 days of the week starting on Monday. For me, that's sort of when I consider my week to start, going down the side, and then different activities and things listed for each day. To see over here, I have a second column next to the date that has the little dots or different action items. So here's, uncompleted action items. And then over here, once I've completed them, I actually put an X through it. It's very rare that I'll actually cross something off, or if I do cross something off, that typically means that I'm not going to complete that task, or I've moved on from it. And then there's this other symbol, and this is one of the really cool factors for the bullet journal system, is that this symbol, it may be sort of hard to see on there, but it's not an X, it's actually an arrow pointing forward, which in sort of the bullet journal lingo just means that it has moved forward. You have scheduled it again for a further date. And there's a couple different ways that works out. In this case, all I did at the end of Monday, I decided I wasn't going to order cases from Adam. I moved it forward and I actually added it to Tuesday's log, order cases from Adam. That's just signifying that, hey, I didn't actually do this that day or get it done at the end of that day. But to account for the fact that I didn't get it done for that day, I rescheduled it for another day. Or there's another method that you can move it forward months ahead of time to schedule them in a different month, which is what's really cool. You can also use a back arrow scheduling things the other way or noting them in another way. Put a back arrow, meaning it's going backward in time or backward in the journal. And I put that on what I call my someday maybe list. So it's a list of things that I know I want to do and get done, but I'm not yet ready to actually schedule them or set a date or a month for it. And here's my cat. Hi, Snoop Cat. So then at the end of the week, on a typical Sunday, I would sit down at some point for 15-20 minutes and then actually use a ruler and draw in these new lines for the next week. This week, I'm leaving for Italy on basically the Monday that would be right here, the 8th. And I wanted to think about all of the space of time that I have between the beginning of this week and the end of next week to do all the things that I need to do. So I wanted to sort of visualize that and go, okay, cool. I do have some time here, some time here. So that's the weekly view. So this is what I kind of operate with out of a day-to-day schedule. And then, so here's the 2 weeks prior to that. And then this one is the month view. So at the end of each month, I'll prep this for the next month. So here, and then I have the dates of the month going down the side, and then just a single letter for what day of the week that is. And then actually fill that in for what's going on this month on specific days. I don't do all the tiny little tasks, but big things like there was a triathlon, there's Easter, going to a Blazers game, I have my drum practice or drum lesson. So just a way to kind of see that whole month view. And then if somebody is, tries to schedule something with me or wants to schedule something with me a couple weeks in advance, I can look at this and go, okay, Monday night, I don't currently have anything scheduled. And then over here, I keep experimenting. That's the thing with the bullet journals. I'm always experimenting every week or every month, kind of trying something different. So this month, I kept a list of things that I wanted to get done this month. So I didn't have a specific day that I wanted to schedule them. So I wrote these all out at the beginning. You'll see I crossed one off, BHS baseball game, but I've actually, I checked that one off. I've actually crossed a few things off that I determined I wasn't willing to take the time to do. So that the previous month I had actually I'd used that area as a fitness log. So I was training for a triathlon that I did in the middle of April. And I was writing down what I did each day, including, there's a rest day. That day I went to swimming and did tennis. This day I ran for 20 minutes and did yoga for 20 minutes. So just to have that to look back on. But I didn't end up continuing that for April. I didn't feel like it was necessary for me. And then a second monthly view. This one, I just think of it as my daily tracker. In the lingo, this is typically called a habit tracker. And I like to set this one up the other way in the journal. Same thing, so the days of the month are listed across the top with the day of the week underneath. And then on the side are habits, or for me, daily or mostly daily activities. Sweat, I just write in, that's my reference to do some kind of fitness. Even if I just go for a long walk and don't sweat a lot, that's just my kind of shorthand for, be a bit active, right? Get your body moving. So then for each of these, I use some different methods. Some of them, it's just a check mark that I did it or a dot that I completed it. Other times I actually write the specific time. Drums is the one that the time actually really matters more. I try to target 90 minutes a day. So I've got 90, 60, 90, 60, 90, 90, 60, 60. At the end of the month, I can actually total that up and make an average of how many hours per day I'd actually practice. I've seen people use these with, exercise trackers of like steps walked. They could actually chart in like a bar graph of how many steps they walked for the day. So the days would be along here, and then this would actually be a scale of, 5,000 steps, 7,000 steps, 9,000 steps, and you could actually have a bar graph over the course of the month, which would be cool. I've seen that too with water consumption, people that are focused on drinking more water. Again, you could fill these boxes in as, number of glasses for the day, for each day, which again, all sorts of different uses for it. So then one more specific factor to the bullet journal system is called the future log. So this is basically a way to plan out. I write out 1 month at a time like we were just looking at, but then here is where I can keep track of future months. My future log, again, this is just a tag to mark this page. So I know in May, that says under there, I'm going to Italy from the 8th to June 2nd, and these are some other activities that I want to make sure I do. June, these have some more better dates here. Birthday, Father's Day, wedding, reunion, and I just write the number next to it, and that's the date in that month that activity is. So when I get to the end of May, I'll sit down, and this takes 30 to 45 minutes usually, to draw out everything for June. I'd say, June, all that. And then I would go through and copy all of these items in to the specific date that they're going to happen, or if I just have a general list of things that I want to get done for that month, I'll put them over there. And so that's kind of the setup for the next month. And here I've got the next 3 months is when I've got, more things scheduled. And then I keep a smaller section of those dates for farther out. I'm trying to work on planning and thinking farther ahead. So this helped me just go, okay, cool. Like here's what's going on those days. When I get to probably the end of June, I'll probably redo my future log on another set of pages farther forward. Back here was the first one. So I started this, I think at the end of June, and this was kind of my first take at a future log. I've done it 2 or 3 more times then, just kind of refresh it every now and then. And then I'll just point out one other feature that I use. So this is known as a collection, and I have this listed in my index in the front. What this is, places to eat, drink, check out. Basically, restaurants or bars or tap rooms or things that I want to go do and take a look at. I can add to this list when I need to, but then also kind of go back and check things off. I find this one useful when I'm trying to get together with a friend or something and say, hey, where should we meet up? I'll flip back in here and go, well, where's a place that I haven't been before that we could check out? So this is one example. I have another list of these of business ideas. I have a list of people and friends that I'd like to catch up with and hang out with. All sorts of different uses for this. And again, it's the idea of the bullet journal is that it's super easy to personalize it and make it your own. Yeah, so that's kind of the flow that I use. Thanks for checking out this video and seeing how I use my bullet journal system. I hope you found it informative and useful. And if you decide to start using the bullet journal system on your own, I'd love to hear about it and compare journals with you. There are actually, as far as that I know of, Instagram and YouTube accounts specifically focused around bullet journal pictures and techniques. People get very creative with them, very artsy. There are sticker packs that you can buy. There are special journals. People can really take it to a whole new level that I'm sort of slowly working on adjusting and adapting. There's some really, really cool ones out there, but this was mine. Thanks for taking a look, and I hope you found it useful.